Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. Motivation is unreliable, it shows up late, it leaves early, and it disappears the moment things get uncomfortable. So if your success depends on motivation, you've already lost. Here's the truth. Discipline is what carries you when motivation abandons you. Discipline is doing the work when you're tired. Discipline is showing up when no one is watching. Discipline is keeping promises you made to yourself, especially on the days you want to break them. And the biggest mistake people make, they think discipline is about willpower. It's not. Discipline is about design. If your environment makes it easy to quit, you will quit. If your routines depend on feeling good, you will fail. So stop asking, how do I feel today? Start asking, what does the person I'm becoming do next? Because here's the shift that changes everything. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. When you decide who you are, your actions follow. You don't skip workouts because you're tired, you don't skip because you are someone who doesn't negotiate with excuses. You don't work hard when you feel inspired, you work hard because that's your standard. And let's talk about discomfort. Most people avoid it like it's danger, but discomfort isn't the enemy, comfort is. Comfort keeps you small. Comfort lies to you and tells you tomorrow is guaranteed. Comfort steals your potential one easy decision at a time. Growth lives on the other side of resistance, that tight feeling in your chest. That's not fear, that's expansion. Discipline means choosing long-term respect over short-term relief, and here's the secret most people never learn: consistency wins. Always, you don't need massive action. You need repeatable action. Show up, do the work, leave, repeat. Every day you follow through, even when you don't feel like it. You build trust with yourself, and self-trust is power. So the next time motivation doesn't show up, and it won't, don't panic. Smile, because that's your moment. That's where discipline is built. That's where identity is forged. That's where ordinary people separate themselves from everyone else. Do the work anyway. That's how you win. Discipline isn't something you summon when you feel inspired. It isn't a surge of energy or a sudden emotional high. Discipline is built when you stop negotiating with your feelings and start engineering your life. Because feelings are temporary, unpredictable, and wildly inconsistent. If you wait until you feel ready, confident, or motivated, you'll spend most of your life standing still. Discipline begins the moment you accept that emotions are not instructions. They're noise, and if you let noise dictate your actions, you'll never build anything meaningful. Systems are what save you on your worst days. A system doesn't care if you're tired, bored, anxious, or afraid. A system doesn't ask how you feel. It simply tells you what's next. When you wake up and everything in you wants to quit, a system removes the decision making. You don't debate, you don't analyze, you execute. That's why disciplined people look unstoppable from the outside. Not because they're stronger emotionally, but because they've removed emotion from the equation. Most people fail because they rely on self-control instead of structure. They try to power through chaos with willpower, and willpower always runs out. But when you build routines, habits, and environments that make the right action automatic, you don't need to feel strong. You just need to follow the script you already wrote for yourself. Discipline is future, you protecting present, you from weakness. This means setting non-negotiables. Certain actions happen every day no matter what. Not because you feel like it, but because that's the cost of becoming who you said you want to be. The routine becomes the backbone. The system becomes the safety net. When emotions quit, and they will, the system keeps moving. And here's the uncomfortable part. Building systems is boring, it's repetitive, it doesn't give you instant gratification, but boring done daily beats exciting done occasionally. Every time you follow the routine despite resistance, you're reinforcing an identity. You're proving to yourself that your actions are not controlled by mood. That's where confidence comes from. Not from hype, but from evidence. Discipline isn't dramatic, it's quiet, it's showing up without applause. It's doing the work when no one is watching and nothing feels rewarding yet, and over time those systems compound. What once felt forced becomes natural. What once felt heavy becomes normal. You stop needing motivation because the machine is already running, even when emotions quit, even when life gets loud, even when everything inside you wants an easier path. Your mood is one of the most unreliable forces you will ever deal with. It changes with sleep, stress, opinions, weather, and circumstance. If your actions are tied to how you feel in the moment, your life will swing wildly with every emotional shift. That's why identity has to come first. When you decide who you are, your behavior stops being reactive and starts being deliberate. You no longer ask what feels good right now. You ask what someone like me does in this situation. Identity is a set of rules you live by. When those rules are clear, emotions lose their power. You don't skip the work because you're tired, frustrated, or unmotivated. You show up because that's what you do, not because it's easy, but because it's aligned with the standard you've chosen. Your mood can complain all it wants, but it doesn't get the final vote. Most people let emotions drive the car. Identity gets locked in the trunk. They chase motivation, wait for confidence, and hope the right feeling shows up. But high performers reverse the order. They act first, feelings follow later. Confidence is built through proof, not positive thinking. Every time you act in alignment with your identity despite resistance, you reinforce it. You're casting votes for the person you're becoming. This is where real discipline is born, not from forcing yourself, but from refusing to betray yourself. When your identity is weak, every bad day becomes an excuse. When your identity is strong, bad days become irrelevant. You don't need perfect conditions, you need clarity. The clearer your self-image, the less influence your mood has over your decisions. This doesn't mean you ignore emotions. It means you don't obey them. Feelings can inform you, but they don't command you. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel tired and still execute. You can feel doubt and still keep your word. That separation is power. When identity leads, discipline becomes automatic. You're no longer fighting yourself every day. You're simply living in alignment. The question shifts from how do I feel to who am I committed to being? And once that answer is locked in, your actions stop being a debate. They become a reflection of your standards, your values, and the person you've chosen to build. Regardless of mood, circumstance, or comfort, pain has been misunderstood for a long time. Most people treat it like a stop sign, a signal that something is wrong and they should turn back. But pain isn't the enemy of progress, it's the proof that you're moving forward. Growth demands friction. Change requires resistance. If everything feels easy, familiar, and comfortable, nothing new is being built. Discomfort is not a warning sign, it's the entry fee for becoming more than you are right now. Every meaningful upgrade in life comes with strain. Your muscles don't grow without tearing. Your mind doesn't expand without being challenged. Your character doesn't strengthen without pressure. Pain is the body and mind adapting to a higher standard. The problem is not pain itself, the problem is our relationship with it. We've been trained to avoid it, numb it, or escape it instead of understanding its role. When you start doing something hard, your brain interprets discomfort as danger. It tries to protect you by pushing fear, doubt, and excuses to the surface. That's not intuition, that's survival programming. Your nervous system wants predictability, not progress, so the moment you step outside what's familiar, discomfort shows up. Not to stop you, but to test how serious you are. People who make progress aren't immune to pain. They've just learned to stop negotiating with it. They don't romanticize suffering, but they don't run from it either. They understand that the burn, the frustration, the exhaustion are part of the process. They know that avoiding pain guarantees stagnation, while facing it opens doors most people never walk through. Discomfort sharpens focus. It strips away distractions and forces you into the present moment. When things are hard, you learn faster. You get honest with yourself. You discover what you're capable of when excuses are no longer an option. Pain demands accountability, and accountability produces growth. The difference between those who move forward and those who stay stuck is simple. One group treats pain as feedback, the other treats it as a threat. When you reframe discomfort as the cost of entry, it loses its power over you. It becomes expected, normal, even necessary. Progress doesn't come from ease, convenience, or comfort. It comes from choosing the harder path long enough for it to reshape you. Pain isn't there to punish you. It's there to prepare you, to condition you, and to force you to evolve beyond the limits you once thought were permanent. Intensity feels powerful in the moment. It's loud, emotional, and convincing. It shows up as a surge of motivation where you promise yourself everything is about to change. You go all in, push hard, and burn bright. But intensity is unstable. It depends on energy, excitement, and emotion, and those things never last. When the feeling fades, so does the effort. That's why intensity alone rarely builds anything that survives time. Consistency is quieter. It doesn't look impressive on day one. It doesn't give you a rush or instant results. But it shows up every day, regardless of mood, stress, or circumstances. Consistency doesn't ask for perfect conditions. It just asks for repetition, and repetition is what rewires behavior, builds skill, and creates momentum that doesn't collapse when motivation disappears. Small actions done daily may feel insignificant, but they compound in ways intensity never can. One workout won't change your body. One focused hour won't master a skill. One good decision won't transform your life. But doing the right thing again and again builds a foundation that becomes impossible to ignore. Progress isn't the result of heroic effort. It's the result of boring commitment executed over time. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. They chase dramatic change and quit when reality doesn't match the fantasy. Consistent people play a longer game. They don't need to feel unstoppable. They just need to not stop. Even on low-energy days, they do something. That something keeps the chain unbroken, and the chain is everything. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Every small action is a promise kept. Over time, that self-trust becomes confidence. You stop relying on motivation because you know you'll show up whether you feel like it or not. That reliability becomes your edge. While others wait for the perfect moment, you're stacking progress quietly. Intensity spikes and crashes. Consistency compounds and endures. It turns effort into identity and habits into results. The person who moves forward a little every day will always outperform the person who goes all out once in a while, because momentum favors those who stay in motion long after motivation fades.